Welcome in, Dween Nation. This is your host, Justin Paez, and I know it's just me today. I kind of wanted to make an impromptu March Madness predictions video for you guys before it starts today. Jano will obviously be back for the next episode. This is more of just like, oh, we don't have a lot of time, but I want to send out a nice predictions thing, so we're going to jump onto it. Obviously, you see the bracket right now, and so I'm going to make my own. You guys are gonna see what you like. I mean, we got to be spicy here too, but we're also gonna pick, the best picks we can. So I'm gonna jump right into the East region. Then I'm gonna go region by region to the Final Fours, and then I'll pick the Final Fours. So let's do it. We got first one. We got UConn and Stetson. It's not much of a question here. Obviously, last year we saw a 16 upset of one. They're not going to do that this year, especially not to UConn. Then we moved to FAU and Northwestern. They got Boo Booey at Northwestern, but their center's injured. With FAU, obviously they made a Final Four run, and I'm gonna rely on the fact that they have that pedigree there doing that. So yeah, then we're moving to the next one: San Diego State, UAB. UAB. I don't know how big of a fan I am of them. I know they kind of went on a run in their tournament and they won it. But I'm gonna go San Diego State here. Obviously, they made the championship last year, and they're just a very good defensive team. Auburn, they won the SEC title. They looked phenomenal. Yale barely beat Brown at a buzzer beater. So I think that Yale doesn't really stand a chance there. I go Auburn. Then we got Duquesne and BYU. Duquesne, I'm pretty sure they're coached by LeBron's high school coach, which is kind of interesting. But I'm gonna go with the Mormons, BYU, and then Illinois Morehead State. So Illinois won the Big Ten championship. They looked pretty good, but I don't know why I always kind of like to fade Big Ten teams in the tournament. I'm not gonna do it here, but I might do it a little soon. And then this 7-10 matchup, Washington State and Drake, arguably is one of the hardest choices I've had to make just for the first round. Throughout the entire one, obviously I made multiple brackets already. But Washington State, gosh, and then so Drake last year, obviously they played against, I believe, Miami, and they lost. But they were a favorite to kind of make a run, in the tournament. But they just had a tough draw. Now they get Wazoo. I'm gonna go with Drake. I'm gonna give them that upset there. We'll start the run of upsets, and then Iowa State. I'll go Iowa State. They blew out Houston in the Big 12 championship to win it, and I don't know. I feel some people are fading them for some reason. That would not be me. But yeah, okay. Let's move. UConn. I'm going UConn over FAU. San Diego State and Auburn. I'm gonna go Auburn. Johnny Broome is just too good, and I feel bad for Auburn. They got the draw they got, but I'm going with them in the next round. BYU, Illinois. I'm going to go with BYU. Their shooting might become a problem for Illinois. And again, like I said, I don't know. Big Ten teams usually don't bode well, usually. Okay. And then we're going to move to the next one. Drake, Iowa State. That's a tough one. I'm going to go Iowa State just because they looked really good in recent memory. So, and then UConn and Auburn. It's like, that's going to be probably the best matchup we see in the entire tournament. I think those are some of the best teams right there. I don't know how Auburn got a 4 seed, but I'm going to go UConn. I know it's pretty chalk so far, and things aren't super pretty. Next pick here. You know what? Let's get a little spicier. I'm going to go BYU. They're going to make it to the Elite Eight. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, to the Elite Eight. Okay, so then we move them to the Elite Eight, and we're going to move over here to the right with the South region. I'm going to go with Houston. And then I'm going to go with Texas A&M. It's not a homer pick, okay, but it's going to be a tough game. But if A&M gets right here and they beat Houston, we could be seeing a Cinderella run. Obviously, watching a lot of A&M, they are very streaky. It's in and out, so it's very unreliable, I'd say. So, but I'm going to go with them over Nebraska. James Madison, Wisconsin. It's a tough one because Wisconsin made it to the Big Ten championships. But Jaden Madison has looked really good this year, and I'm going to go with them as an upset, a 12-seed upset. Don't buy into the Vermont stuff. I got Duke. Texas Tech, NC State. NC State obviously made that run. They weren't supposed to make the tournament. Then they win their conference championship. But I think Texas Tech is just a better team. NC State might have ran out of gas because they had a lot of games played, and they kind of, I feel like that might have been their championship, winning the conference tournament. And then I'm gonna go with Kentucky. Oakland, I don't think poses too much of a threat. And then this game here, these 7-10s, man, they're tough because I do like Colorado a lot. But Florida looked really good in their tournament. Yeah, you got KJ Simpson, Walter Clayton. I was watching him play, and it's just phenomenal. Obviously, their center got injured in the SEC championship, and so he's going to be out. But I'm not going to bet against Florida. I think they have what it takes. I know they usually play to their competition level, which means their games are probably going to be pretty close. But I like them to move on. And then I'm going to go with Marquette. Western Kentucky's actually kind of banged up, and I know people think that they could be a nice upset pick, but Marquette's a good team. I know that Tyler Kolek is coming back from injury, but I think he's going to be there. And then right up here, Houston A&M. It's tough, but I got to go Houston over my Aggies. James Madison Duke. I'm going to go with another upset, James Madison. We've got to have at least a double-digit seed in the Sweet 16. And so that's one of them for sure. And then I'm going to go Kentucky versus Tech. I'm going to go Kentucky. They're both high-powered offenses, but I think Kentucky has a better high-powered offense. And then I'm going to go Marquette over Florida. And so, yes, we got the 1, 2, the 3, but we got the 12 in there. And then I'm going to go Houston ends James Madison's run. And I'm going to go with Kentucky. So we got a 1-3 and a 1-6. And then I'm going to go UConn, and I'm going to go with Houston. They're in the Final Four. Now let's fly all the way down here to the west region. We got North Carolina. Yeah, we're not getting any 116s this year. I like a lot of the number 1 seeds. Mississippi State and Michigan State. I definitely gotten to watch more Mississippi State this year, being in the SEC. And we've seen how Michigan State has struggled. I know they got Tom Izzo, so you might want to rely on the the pedigree of head coaches. But Mississippi State's coach is really good too, and they've played really well recently, and that's kind of what's the most important if you get hot around this time of year. So I'm going Mississippi State. St. Mary's Grand Canyon. Obviously, Grand Canyon is a favored upset that we've seen, but I think St. Mary's, I think they allow only like 58 points a game. Obviously, they won their tournament, and they got a high ranking, in BPI, so I like them. And then Charleston, Alabama. This is a tough one to pick here because they're both high-powered offenses. Then you would want to pick, Bama obviously has the higher-powered offense. But I heard this stat out of Southeastern 14. They said that over the last 20 games where Charleston scores 80-plus points, they are 20-0 in those games, and I'm pretty certain that Charleston will get 80 points. So I'm going to go with Charleston upsetting Alabama in the first round. Now we're going on a little upset run. I'm going to go with New Mexico over Clemson. I know that's a favorite upset, but New Mexico has got all the analytics behind them. Clemson, we've seen struggle recently, so I'm going to go with New Mexico. I'm going with Baylor. Colgate doesn't intimidate me too much. Here's another 7-10 that is interesting. Dayton hasn't been playing well. Earlier in the season, I would have, hands down pick Dayton, but recently I think they're 5-4 of their last 9 games. Nevada's been pretty good recently, and they got a couple good guards. So I'm going to go with Nevada, and I'm going to go with Arizona over Long Beach State. I mean, Long Beach State's playing with a fired head coach right now, so there's that. And then we got UNC Mississippi State. It's a tough matchup. I think Mississippi State has a chance to kind of surprise people, and I'm actually going to go with the upset. Mississippi State beats UNC in the round of 32. And we got the first 1 seed out. St. Mary's, Charleston. I'm going to go with St. Mary's. Their defense is too intimidating, I think, for Charleston. But they had a good run. They got that one big upset. New Mexico, Baylor. I think New Mexico matches up with Baylor pretty well, and I think they upset Baylor, and we got an 11, and we got an 8, and we got a 5. And then Arizona, Nevada, we're going Arizona. To get to the Elite 8, Mississippi State, St. Mary's. Both pretty good defenses, both fairly big, but I'm going to go with St. Mary's. And then New Mexico, Arizona, I'm going with Arizona. So we got 5-2 over here. Let's move on to the Midwest. We got Purdue, Grambling. Purdue's got it. TCU is very physical. I don't think they have a far chance to make a run in the tournament, but I think they got over Utah State. Gonzaga, McNeese. McNeese is a favorite upset as well. Pretty favorite 12-5. I'm gonna go with Gonzaga though. Kansas, Sanford. Obviously, their top player in Kansas is out for the tournament, Kevin McCullough. But man, and Hunter Dickinson's coming in kind of hobbled. So I'm gonna go with Sanford. That's the upset I'm looking for. 213 over 4 this year. Usually there's at least one. South Carolina, Oregon. I've been picking a lot of SEC, but I'm not going to here. Oregon gets the victory. I'm pretty sure they won the Pac-12 championship, so they're kind of riding hot. And South Carolina, they've been kind of fraudulent. And if you want a brief bit of history, maybe if it happens again this year, it could become a pattern. But last year, the SEC Coach of the Year was Buzz Williams for the Aggies. They lost in the first round. This year, it was South Carolina's head coach, and I think they lose in the first round. Creighton, they get it done after Akron, even though Akron is a scrappy team that could scare Creighton maybe a little bit, but they move on. Texas, Colorado State. Now, I saw something, I might be incorrect, but I think over the last 4 to 5 years, a play-in team has made it to the second round, and I didn't have any so far do that, but I like Texas. I think they're dangerous, so I'm going to go against recent memory of that happening, and then I'm going to go with Tennessee over St. Peter's. We're going to keep moving. Purdue, TCU, I'm going Purdue. Gonzaga, Sanford, I'm going Gonzaga. Creighton, Oregon. I think Creighton's still a pretty good team, even though Akron maybe gave them something to worry about, but I think they move on. And then Tennessee, Texas. Obviously, I'm an anti-Texas guy here, but we got to be unbiased, and I think Texas has a pretty solid team. Tennessee has been proven to be fraudulent, especially losing in their first matchup in the SEC tournament. I'm gonna go with Texas. We got another upset, 3-7. And then Purdue, I got Purdue, and then Creighton, Texas. I'm gonna go with Creighton. And then we got these Elite Eight matchups. I'm gonna go with Arizona. Caleb Love is a baller, and they have really good metrics to be one of the winners of March Madness. And then I'm going to go with Purdue. So even though we got some upsets, we actually end with 3-1s in the Final Four. And let's be more. I'm going to go with UConn in the final, and I'm going to go with Purdue in the final, and I'm going to go with UConn winning the national championship. I'll go with 153. It could be a pretty high score, maybe a little less, 145. And UConn repeats for the first time since the 2000s with Florida. And yeah, that is the bracket championship right there. We went through it pretty fast, but that's kind of what I was wanting to do. Get a good one in for you guys right before. I got to send this out real quick so you guys can look at it. I know it's only a few hours before the tournament starts with Mississippi State and Michigan State, which will be super interesting because so many people's brackets are going to be popped right when the first game ends. So, but yeah, thanks for staying tuned. I can't wait for it to start. It's kind of arguably the best part of the year for sports, besides maybe the Super Bowl. These next few weeks, especially today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, it's just so many games, so much action. I got a bracket too. I got a group of people doing it. You should honestly, and this is kind of like a PSA to anybody. Anybody can play March Madness. I'm telling you, everybody has, to me, the same exact odds. You can think you know a lot, and then you know just about nothing. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks, Dween Nation. Good luck in your March Madness brackets, and you'll see us. I'm also posting our wide receivers and quarterback free agency video today that we made, and then our running back tight end episode is already out. So enjoy those, and then we'll see y'all next week. Peace.